On January 9th, a company called Freedom Industries was reported to have leaked a chemical called MCHM, which is methyl cyclohexane methanol, that it was in our river 1.5 miles from our water resource. And it has affected, at that point, 100,000 customers in 9 counties, and that's 300,000 people.
It seems at this point that this spill has now turned out to be the largest contamination of drinking water in U.S. history.
I used it for 3 days and my skin was so dry. When I took my pants off, you could see literally my skin inside of my pants where I've been peeling all day.
I've never felt like my lungs were being poisoned from cigarettes, like my lungs were being poisoned from the shower water.
By the time we got out of the craft store, 2 hours after it was announced, all of the water in the city was gone.
The January 9th chemical spill that released 10,000 gallons of MCHM is still affecting West Virginians all over the 9-county radius.
I left her there back in the mountain to see the world, riches to gain. Oh, when I
What you know about black diamonds, black diamonds, black diamonds, hey, 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 hey. It's the Chemical Valley, girl, it's got us all crazy. Got us looking to our roots, tangling and twisting all that good hair. Got us living to exist in third world United States, somewhere in the Middle East, just west by God and getting her done. Because we ain't got no choice, no time to wait for the next industry, and damn, stability's leaving town like rolling coal, and all we can do is stay and shelter in place. Just today, I caught a 3-eyed carp. Pollution versus the solution, that's the way DuPont do. A mountain, a river, a road, some rail, just click your heels 3 times and pretend that they city lights.
This is the birthplace of our rivers and our water here on the East Coast, and we're seeing all of these valleys being filled in with heavy metals, with overburden, which is the top of these mountains, as well as all of the explosive and chemicals that are used to demolish these mountains as well, being put into these valleys and streams.
We right now, as affiliates with Mountain Justice, are providing water here at the lawn of the governor's office. We're here not only to provide a vital resource in the wake of this chemical spill, but also to stand that the governor is culpable in people continuing to get clean water, and he needs to reinstate the state of emergency.
We were actually on the ground with water, handing it out to people less than 24 hours after they announced the spill. Well, now we're over 2 months later. We still don't have access to clean water. 2 months of sustained disaster relief where the governor of West Virginia actually came to the Clean Water Hub and said, where do we need to deliver water? You see what's going on here now.
This spill is just like one incident of a history of environmental atrocities in the region.
People are getting sick. We're watching elevated rates of death, diseases, and it needs to stop. Mainly the problem is cancer, heart and lung diseases, and birth defects. The birth defects are off the charts.
The Appalachian region is the most biodiverse deciduous rainforest in our hemisphere. That rainforest is being demolished, the equivalent of 1 Hiroshima bomb that goes off in central Appalachia per week.
I've left my old mother to weep and to mourn. I am a rebel soldier and far from my home.
We're culpable for this. Our lifestyles create the demand for this resource. What are we going to do to stop that? Because as long as we're paying money for it, they're going to mine it. If you go back and work with your schools and encourage their foundations to divest from fossil fuel extraction and their profits, that's a good first step. Local sustainable communities, growing your own food locally, reducing the consumption of meat and mass-produced meat, these are all tangible steps that people can take.
The process of mountaintop removal begins with a land lease. It's when a timber company or a land holding company leases out the land and the mineral rights underneath the mountain to a coal company. Then that mountain is clear cut. None of that timber is salvaged. Blow off the top of the mountain. Put it into a valley. It's called a valley fill, and the top of that mountain is then called overburden. We've actually filled up the equivalent of the entire Ohio River with the amount of valley fills. The entire shelf of coal is removed. Fracking is now becoming more and more common on top of mountaintop removal sites. We've seen a couple of Walmarts, but it's usually just a giant, essentially a moonscape. Mountain Justice is an organization and a grassroots collection of folks that have been around for almost a decade. They've been fighting mountaintop removal and other forms of extractive industries, and they stand in solidarity with communities all around the world who are facing the effects of extreme extraction.
Mountain Justice Spring Break is a week-long, essentially training camp framed around the spring break idea, where we have workshops, panel discussions, and culminating at the end of the week with some kind of direct action. And it's really an opportunity for folks to come to Appalachia to learn about extraction firsthand from local community members that are dealing with the effects of extraction.
Being here and experiencing this firsthand will add something else to just posting pictures on a poster board and telling people this is what happens. Now we can actually emotionally dictate to them, this is what we experience. Hopefully when they see that emotion in our faces, they can be like, this is real. This is not something we can just ignore. This is something that is happening and will continue to happen and has continued to happen for so long, and we have to step up and do something.
It's an entirely different experience when you see firsthand what damage is being done to not only the environment but the people in these communities and the troubles that they have to face, and oftentimes that they have no choice in facing. It's a life-changing experience.
I'm working with these folks trying to get Swarthmore College to divest its investments from fossil fuel companies. And I feel that on campus, the conversation can tend towards intellectual, jargony, finance talk, and it's really re-energizing and affirming to be in a space where this work is approached both from an intellectual space as well as an emotional space.
Nobody really wants to sleep. Everybody is constantly socializing, thinking about actions.
The general atmosphere feels very amicable, and even more than that, just warm.
If you're at all interested in activism, it will really help you learn about organizing, and there's a lot of people here who are real experts who have been doing this for years and years and years.
It'll be equally beneficial for students from any part of the country to come in, take things from the workshops, from the actions, and bring them back to their university, and possibly start up some kind of grassroots organizing of their own. I mean, I've seen students go back and start divestment campaigns because of Mountain Justice. I've seen students come back from Mountain Justice and just get this great sense of hope and of change, and implementing that at their own university is a wonderful thing to see happen.
Forever gone. Boom, boom! Them girls, them boys, them mountains explode. Thank you.
Then dump into the valleys all the rubble from their deed, burying the hollows and they're poisoning the stream. So fight one day